Every single morning I think the same thing: how did I end up with you? I still expect to wake up and realize this whole life was a dream built during one of my late-night coding sessions. You've made ordinariness feel like luck.
If this is you before caffeine, I should record it. Usually, I get the half-awake, where's my tie version of you. But honestly, Daniel, this is what I love, these unfiltered mornings when work hasn't stolen you yet.
You know I'm doing this job for us, right? The long hours, the pitches, it's all to get the project to a place where we can breathe. Once this quarter ends, I'm taking you somewhere quiet. Beaches, zero Wi-Fi, no alarm clocks. Promise.
You always promise, and I always want to believe you. But time keeps slipping past us while we talk about later. One day, later might not come if we forget to live in now.
Revision 3 of the campaign. I moved the emotional focus toward the customer story rather than the numbers. You said we needed heart, right?
This is exactly it. You translated a metric sheet into a heartbeat. Honestly, Maya, I haven't felt this excited about a project in months.
Maybe excitement is contagious. You just needed someone who still believes creativity can change minds.
Careful, you'll remind me why I fell in love with my job in the first place. And my wife says that's dangerous. You know how jealous she gets of my deadlines.
Then she must be wonderful, to inspire that kind of loyalty.
So, Mrs. Perfect Marriage, how's life in Wonderland?
Wonderland's been running on autopilot. Daniel's buried under projects again. I keep telling myself it's temporary, but lately, he feels elsewhere, like he's at the table but the real him is somewhere behind his eyes.
That's how emotional distance starts: quiet, polite, invisible. Nip it before it grows fangs. Talk to him.
I do, or I try. He listens, then smiles, promises vacations that never happen. Part of me worries I'm becoming one of those partners who gets nostalgic for a relationship that still technically exists.
Love needs constant translation. If you stop speaking the same emotional language, someone else will offer the dictionary. Don't let that happen.
We've been at this for 6 hours. Coffee stopped helping 2 hours ago.
Perks of chasing perfection. You've pushed me harder than any creative director I've worked with.
Guess I just like unlocking people. Sometimes you see brilliance stuck under exhaustion.
You remind me of what it felt like when everything was new, when I built ideas just because they made me feel alive. Lately, I've been functioning, not living.
Maybe that's what we're all searching for, someone who reminds us we're still alive.
We should call it a night before inspiration turns into trouble.
Surprise delivery. I figured my husband might forget to eat again, so I brought the evidence that someone still cares if he survives the week.
Liv, hey, I didn't expect you.
Who is that girl that just left your office dressed like that and looking all suspicious?
That's Maya, the campaign genius.
She seems talented and very comfortable around you.
She's confident, that's why the campaign works. Don't read anything into it.
I'm not reading, Daniel, I'm observing. People don't stand that close when they're just talking about fonts.
Liv, come on. I'm buried in work. You pop in, see 10 seconds, and suddenly this is an interrogation.
No, it's not an interrogation. It's just the first time in weeks I've seen you look alive. And it wasn't because of me.
Did I just cost you a peaceful marriage visit? You looked like a man on a witness stand earlier.
It's not your fault. Liv's been distant in her own way. Or maybe I've been distant. I don't even know who started it anymore. Spending time here, at least I feel I'm connecting with someone on the same wavelength.
That's dangerous territory, Daniel. You can't fix an emotional gap in one life by building a bridge in another. It collapses on everyone standing on it.
Since when are you the philosopher?
Since I realized how easily admiration turns into something else. You respect someone, then you rely on them, then one night you lie to yourself that it's harmless. I'm not pretending I'm immune.
So what are we doing here, then?
Drinking coffee and telling the truth before it's too late.
Maybe that's the first honest thing I've done in weeks.
You're staring at your phone like it betrayed you.
Maybe it did. Daniel said he'd be home by 8, it's almost 10. His new assistant keeps texting, work updates, supposedly.
Do you trust him?
That's the problem, I do, out of habit. But trust built on habit can crumble without notice. I keep seeing his face light up when he talks about ideas, about her contributions. When he talks about me, it sounds like duty, kind, polite, tired.
Liv, don't spiral without evidence. Just talk to him. Straight, no sarcasm, no traps. Ask if there's someone else filling the space that used to be yours.
You make it sound clinical. Hello, dear, quick survey question. Are you emotionally cheating today?
It's either that, or you let suspicion eat you whole. Silence is where betrayal breeds.
Did the office lock you in again, or is that glow on your face overtime's new perk plan?
Was finishing the final revisions. Maya stayed to help.
Of course she did. She always does.
Olivia, this paranoia isn't fair.
Then explain it to me so it stops sounding like paranoia. Convince me this emptiness in our house is just my imagination. Because every time your phone lights up, it's her name. Every time you smile lately, it's at a screen.
You really think I'd throw away a decade over attention? She's a coworker, that's all. If she means so much, then maybe the issue isn't her, it's whatever's broken between us.
And whose job was it to fix that, Daniel? I reached for you for months. You gave me promises, she gave you presents. If we keep pretending this isn't happening, we'll wake up strangers in the same bed.
You're wearing last night's tie. Either the project killed you or your marriage did. Which battlefield claimed you, son?
Let's say I'm losing at both. I crossed a line, even if I never touched anything I shouldn't. I opened a door in my heart that wasn't meant for anyone but Olivia. Now I can't close it.
That's still infidelity, Daniel. The kind people write off as harmless because it doesn't leave lipstick stains. But emotional betrayal burns slower and deeper. The question is, do you intend to douse the flame or fan it?
I don't know. Part of me craves the attention, the other part despises myself for it.
Then you already know what you have to do. Guilt is a compass, it only points north if you listen. Go home and tell your wife before she hears it from echoes. Confession ruins comfort, but silence murders trust.
I keep asking myself when it happened, when my home turned into a waiting room. I sit in silence, listen to rain, and count apologies that haven't been spoken yet. He comes home tired, guilty maybe innocent, and I don't know which scares me more.
You sound like someone who already knows the truth but still hopes to be wrong. That's the most painful kind of hope, Liv.
How do you know when to stop forgiving things that haven't even been confessed?
You don't. You simply draw a line and stand still until truth crosses it. Then you listen, not to excuses, but to whether regret comes from the mouth or the eyes.
Liv, we need to talk. No deflections, no pretending we're fine. I can't keep standing in this house knowing how badly I've hurt you by what I didn't say.
Then say it. Whatever, truth, has been burning a hole in your throat, spit it out before it chokes both of us.
There was never a physical affair. Nothing you'd catch in photographs or gossip. But emotionally, yes. I crossed every invisible line people wave away until they fall off the edge. I told myself I was lonely. I told myself I was just inspired, that connection was professional. Yet every message, every late night, every laugh that felt too dangerous, it built into something I was too cowardly to name. Maya gave me attention I should have fought harder to deserve from you, and that thought alone makes me sick. You trusted me to guard your heart while I was lending attention to someone else. That's betrayal, no matter what label the world wants to put on it.
You practiced that honesty like a presentation. You've been rehearsing guilt while I've been rehearsing patience. Daniel, tell me, when you came home late smelling of coffee, was it her conversation or her admiration that kept you out? Because whichever it was, you chose it over the smallest gesture of love I begged for, a dinner together, a glance across the couch instead of your screen.
I know. And every time I saw your disappointment, I built another lie to protect myself from it. I convinced myself it was better not to talk about how distant we'd become, easier to hide in work than face the mirror together.
And what about her? Does she still text you? Do you still check the phone at night before sleeping just to feel that spark of attention she gave?
No. I ended it, ended the friendship, the contact, everything. She asked once why, and all I could say was, because I remembered what I promised my wife. That's my truth, Olivia. It came too late, but it's real.
You know what hurts most? Not the messages, not the late nights. It's that when I began to sense you drifting, I convinced myself to blame my own flaws. I thought maybe I'd become uninteresting, maybe you needed someone brighter, younger, more enthusiastic. I twisted the blame inward to protect the image of us. And now, hearing you confess, part of me feels relief, because at least my madness had a reason. But the other part, the bigger part, feels hollow. Because the man who vowed transparency chose mystery when it mattered.
Liv, I can't beg you to forget. I wouldn't even ask that. But please, don't erase everything we were because of what I became temporarily blind to.
Temporarily blind. Daniel, blindness isn't the crime, the refusal to open your eyes is. You saw me standing here all those nights, you just looked past me.
You have every right to walk away. I wouldn't blame you. But if there's a fragment of love left among all this wreckage, let me rebuild from that. I want to spend the rest of my life proving one reckless season doesn't define an entire marriage.
I don't even know if forgiveness is a language I still remember, Daniel. But I'll need silence to relearn it.
So you told her?
Every word. It felt like tearing skin. She didn't scream. She just left the room quieter than death.
Silence is grief in its purest form. Let her have it. You've moved from denial to consequence. That's progress, even when it feels like punishment.
You ever think forgiveness is too big an ask? That some wrongs deserve permanent distance?
Forgiveness isn't about what's deserved. It's about whether the soul can bear carrying curses indefinitely. Whether she forgives you or not, your next job is to become the man she wished you'd been all along. Even if she never sees it.
Then that's what I'll do. Start over, even if it's by myself.
He confessed, Nora, and the strange thing is, once he said it, the world didn't end. It just shifted, as if grief rearranged the furniture inside me. I keep thinking about the vows we made. For better or worse, nobody warns you that worse might come dressed as loneliness, not violence. He gave his affection away like spare change, and now I'm left counting the deficit.
Then decide, Liv, either build walls, or draw maps back to trust. Both are valid, but don't linger at the crossroads forever.
Maybe you'll begin with breathing. That seems manageable. Forgiveness might take a lifetime, but breathing, I can do that today. It's strange how loud a home becomes when love stops filling the empty spaces. Every clock tick feels like judgment. I walk from room to room and see versions of us, two ghosts arguing about hope. He hasn't called since that night, and I think I like the silence because at least it's honest. There's no pretending, no diplomacy, no brittle smiles stretched across wounds.
Honest silence is better than polite noise. But silence can grow heavy, Liv. Too much of it, and you start mistaking loneliness for punishment you deserve.
Maybe I do deserve it. I wasn't the one who cheated, but maybe I failed at being enough. People always say, betrayal tells you who they are, but it also tells you what you weren't. I keep playing all our last conversations in my head, and every time I sound colder, sharper. What if I drove him there, not with cruelty, but with neglect born out of exhaustion?
No one drives someone into unfaithfulness, Olivia. Choices are personal maps. You can create distance, yes, but betrayal requires a decision to cross that distance against vows. Don't rewrite history to blame yourself for his weakness. Reflection isn't about self-flagellation. It's about seeing the truth without losing kindness for your own humanity.
Kindness toward myself, that's the hardest forgiveness, isn't it? Everyone talks about forgiving the betrayer, but what about forgiving the version of ourselves that ignored red flags, that kept believing promises too easily? Forgiving that woman feels impossible some days.
That's the woman you've got to start with. If you can forgive her, maybe the rest will follow.
You've lost weight. Guilt burns calories, I see.
Guilt burns everything. Appetite, sleep, optimism. I keep thinking if I punish myself enough, maybe it'll even out the scale. But it never balances, Harper. The moments replay like a broken reel, every laugh with Maya, every lie by omission. And you know what's worst? The silence that answer leaves when I imagine Olivia crying alone.
You're walking the valley every man walks after a fall. It's longer than you think, but you don't need to run through it, just keep walking. Confession purged the disease, but healing is still rehab. You've got to compensate, not through grand apologies, but through daily decency. Don't stalk her with, "I'm sorry." Live so that the apology is visible in your choices. Whether she forgives you or not, become lighter.
I tried journaling. I wrote 20 pages of apologies. None make sense. Sentences like, "I lost my compass, I love the thrill of being seen." It sounds pathetic when written, but that's what happened. I let admiration intoxicate me. It wasn't about Maya, it was about ego, about wanting to feel impressive again. And when Olivia stopped seeing me that way, because familiarity does that, I searched for new mirrors.
That's the oldest story known to marriage. People crave acknowledgement more than desire. You confused admiration for love. The lesson is free, the tuition expensive.
Do you think she'll ever come back? I'm afraid to lose her.
That depends. When she looks at you, does she see a man who paid penance or a man who found purpose? Redemption doesn't beg, it lives visibly until forgiveness has no choice but to notice.
Dear Daniel, I don't know if I'm writing to you or to the version of you that lived before the lies. Nights are quieter now. I stopped crying because it started feeling indulgent. Now I just stare at the ceiling and imagine my heartbeat resetting itself. Sometimes I want to forgive you, not because you earned it, but because carrying hatred is exhausting. Sometimes I want to never forgive you, because pain feels like proof that what we had was real. I'm told forgiveness sets you free. I wonder, what does freedom look like without the person you built it for?
I sent her a short message today. I'm still here if you need honesty instead of memories. No response. Maybe that's answer enough.
Patience, son. Forgiveness grows like slow moss. It doesn't bloom on command. Keep living decently, eventually peace will notice.
It's humbling, this quiet. I used to think love was sustained by passion, by movement, by constant gestures. Turns out it's really maintained by restraint, the ability to stay still when temptation knocks. I didn't possess that, and I'm paying interest on the debt. But if someday she finds another man, I hope he learns from my mistakes. I hope he never lets attention elsewhere feel more validating than the presence at home.
I trust that she will come around. Just be patient and give her some time to heal.
3 months, Nora. 3 months since everything cracked. I thought time would erase anger, but it only diluted it, turned it into something heavier but calmer. I don't miss him the way people miss lovers. I miss him the way amputees miss a limb, phantom pains, ghost memories. Yet, under all that, I feel pity. Not for him exactly, but for both of us, for believing love could survive on autopilot.
That pity is the soil where forgiveness grows. You're almost ready, whether you see it or not.
Ready doesn't mean easy. But yes, I think I want to stop bleeding every time someone says his name. Maybe that's what forgiveness really is, finally choosing peace over proof. When I read your message, part of me wanted to delete it without replying. Another part wanted to come running. I decided to let the mature part win. The curious part might have caused an accident on the way here.
Curiosity is still interest, and interest means there's something left to understand. Thank you for coming, Olivia. I didn't expect forgiveness. I don't even know if I have the right to hope for it, but I needed to look you in the eye one more time and see if peace between us is possible.
Peace is strange. For a long time, I treated it like a reward someone else had to hand me. Turns out, peace is self-service. I've spent these months relearning how to be comfortable in silence that isn't aching. And today, for the first time, I can listen to your voice without the room spinning. That feels like progress.
You've always had more courage than me. My nights were a carousel of self-reproach, replaying every choice until I wanted to claw at time. I dreamed that you'd appear and tell me we were okay, then wake up realizing forgiveness isn't a dream someone grants you. It's work you earn minute by minute through consistency you may never have the chance to display.
You've clearly been thinking in paragraphs, pauses, gentle half-smile. Look, Daniel, when you broke my trust, it wasn't just about fidelity. You disrupted my map of the world. I walked around believing loyalty was our native language, and suddenly I was bilingual in doubt. It took me months to translate back into faith.
I'm sorry for what I stole, not just your happiness in those days, but the innocence of feeling secure. I can never return it, but if there's any way I could help you guard whatever peace you've built, I'd do it gladly, even from across the street.
Guard your own peace first. That will do more for me than your guilt ever could. People think forgiveness means letting the past back in. I'm learning it can simply mean letting resentment move out. When we stop feeding it, it starves.
How did it go?
Peaceful. Painful in little flashes, but peaceful. He didn't plead, he just owned everything. I didn't promise anything either. I think that's what closure really is, both people acknowledging the cracks and deciding not to live inside them anymore.
So, what now?
Now I live, maybe separately, maybe together someday, but without bitterness. I realized forgiveness doesn't always rebuild relationships, sometimes it just rebuilds identity. I want to love again, whether it's him or someone else, from a place that isn't afraid. That's my decision.
We met today. She looked calm, honestly calm. It was the first time she didn't look at me like a wound that wouldn't close. There was compassion in her eyes, not the old affection, not yet, maybe never, but compassion. I think that's grace in its purest form, undeserved and still given. I didn't ask her to come back, that would have tainted the purity of it. I just thanked her for showing me what courage looks like.
Then you're finally beginning to understand. Forgiveness isn't a verdict, it's a horizon. You don't reach it, you walk toward it, and every step is lighter than the one before.
It feels lighter, yes. Not happy yet, but bearable, almost hopeful. For months I was consumed by fear that her forgiveness would undo my guilt. Strange thing, it didn't. It just made me responsible for living better.
You're early.
Didn't want to make the same mistake twice.
What's this? A friendship reunion?
Maybe just two people proving that endings don't have to be ugly. I wanted to give you this. We learned.
We learned. I like that. Simple, not poetic, not begging. True.
Everything we go through deserves at least the dignity of meaning. If pain teaches us anything, it's that love's real measure is humility.
Maybe that's what I'll remember about us. We weren't perfect, but we grew honest when perfection broke. I don't know where life will take us, maybe separate directions, maybe intersecting roads again, but I'll go carrying the understanding that even betrayal can become the soil for wisdom. Thank you, Daniel, for finally meeting me in truth, even if it took everything to get here.
Thank you for teaching me how forgiveness sounds when it's whispered, not granted.
We spend half our lives trying to protect love from erosion and the other half learning that even brokenness can sparkle when light reaches it. Forgiveness doesn't restore what was lost, it reveals what's still possible, and sometimes that's enough.